wish I had that power to silence the room by clearing my voice. Hello, LNUG, I'm going to call it. I know some people probably hate me calling it LNUG, but hello, oh my god, cool. Thank you so much for having us, and I say us, Twilio. First of all, quick question. How many of the room before today had heard about Twilio before? Oh, usually it's the other way around, looking rooms. How many people have actually tried or used Twilio? Still a decent number of people. The SendGrid does count, SendGrid and all its properties, that's awesome. Well, just in case there were a few hands that didn't go up, Twilio is a telecommunications API company. That sounds really boring, but what it actually does is it gives developers like yourselves and the code that you write the ability to interact with telecommunications infrastructure. So that includes sending text messages, WhatsApp messages, emails, phone calls. I promise you, you've used Twilio at some point as a customer. We have like some of the biggest brands in the world. How many people have ever ordered something from Deliveroo? Yeah, you've used Twilio. How many people have had your Uber driver maybe call you? You've used Twilio. If your bank sent you a 2FA message, you probably used Twilio as well. But what do we have here for you today? So we had, past tense, lots of swag and t-shirts for you to take away and show off your Twilio love. We also have socks and we have stickers as well. Please feel free to just kind of use them to rock your world. And there was one more thing that I was supposed to do, but I messed up and I need to apologize. Because part of what I was going to also give away today was a £50 Amazon gift card. And I was supposed to do a raffle. I forgot to prep the raffle. So, if you don't mind, why don't we just build it live using Twilio? Is that okay? Like, rather than talking about it, I'll show you. Okay, so I'm gonna need you all to get your phones out and get ready. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about how Twilio works for those of you who've never used it before. So Twilio, we can actually connect your phone and SMSs to like your web applications. So here, anytime a message comes into Twilio, Twilio sends a HTTP request to your application returns a response, and that determines the message. So why don't I build this out right now? I've got a web server coming here running Express, and I'm gonna actually go to it. It's sent over to this. It says Ahoy World. If you're wondering why it doesn't say hello, it says Ahoy. Ahoy was the first word ever said on the telephone. Anyway, I'm going to use XML. XML, most people should be familiar with it. It looks a lot like HTML with the angled brackets to create a response that should be on this message. And this response is going to have an opening and closing response. So anytime you're using Twilio, we start with an open and close response rather than open and close HTML or head or whatever. And in this, we can send a message. And why don't we say, welcome to, I need a space, to the raffle. And also, because I love affirmations, you are an amazing human being. Let's just stop there. I'm going to wrap it in some backticks. And if I go over here and refresh my server, now I've got XML. So this is living on my computer. I'm using a tool called ngrok to just expose it to the web, right? So that's what I've done. And now I can actually attach this to a phone number that quickly. So now I've got a web server, and I can take this URL and head over to my Twilio console. I'm just going to zoom in. I bought a phone number earlier today, and then I'm going to set it up so that anytime a message comes in, it's going to create a post request to the URL that I've just set up and created. I did it in my practice run a couple minutes ago, so I'm just going to pretend that I've done this for the first time. All right, now feel free to take out your phones, and we're going to have you all send a text message to this number. You don't need to worry about typing it. You can scan this QR code. It should open the SMS app on your phone, or you can type the number in, and it doesn't matter what you say. You can just text anything. And if you get a response that says, welcome to the raffle, can you shout, woohoo! So I know it is working. Woohoo! Oh, already, that's brilliant. Okay, so really, really quickly, I can already respond to messages. Now, obviously, you can generate that XML dynamically, and then with that, you can use any of the coding tools you know. You might receive a text message, look up the phone number in your database, be like, oh, this user has an order, and say, here is your order status, and do all sorts of cool stuff like that. But you can do more than just messages. I'll go back to that slide, so don't worry if you've missed it. We can also do calls. So I'm going to create a new route, and I'm going to call this /call, and I need a request and a response cycle. And why don't we, it's also got to have a type of XML, and this time what I'm going to do is I'm still going to send a response, and that response is still going to open and close with a response tag. But because it's voice, instead of doing messages, I can say stuff. So I can say, you are the winner, for example. I could, if I want to, I can dial and connect them to another phone number. If I wanted to, and this is really good if you ever want to rickroll someone, I could play some music and then play a musical file. You are lucky that I don't remember the URL for my rickroll MP3 off the top of my head, otherwise someone would be rickrolled today. All right, but why don't we just say you are the winner, just that. I'm gonna wrap this in backticks. I'm going to head back over and let's go to /call just to make sure this is working. All right, it says you are the winner. And what I could do is I could attach this to the phone number and have people phone in and you'd get that response. But that's silly, right? Because not everyone can win. As much as we'd love to give you all the £50 Amazon gift voucher. So I'm going to use some Node to write a script that's going to help me find the winner and then make a phone call to them. So I'm going to, first I want to wrap this in a self-calling function. Really quickly, just so I can use async await. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and get all of the messages that you were sending in. So the way I do that is I say, well, Twilio, and just in case you're wondering, in the background I've got like environment variables to authenticate my Twilio client. I'm going to say, Twilio, can you get all the messages and list all of the messages that were sent to that phone number that we had earlier? Cool. And now I have all of these messages. I can pick a winning message. And what I'm going to do is I've actually got this already written out because I don't want to make a mistake, where I'm just going through the messages and picking a message at random. All right, and now that we've got a winning message, I can create a call. I'm going to say, I want to await this. I'm going to say to Twilio, can you create a call? And the call that you're going to create is going to be to whoever the winning message was from. Billy from has a capital. I will do this. It will be from the Twilio number that we bought earlier. And then it's got to have a URL, and that URL's got just to point to some instructions for it to say. We already built one. It was that URL that we created, /call. All right, let me just quickly go over this to make sure I haven't done anything wrong. I believe that, yes, this needed...
I need to close more parentheses.
Close the parenthesis. Yeah. Where?
No, now it's okay.
Oh, that was the one. Okay. And so I think this is good. Why don't I just console.log after this? The call.sid, just to know that it's working so that if something goes wrong, it'll let me know. All right, so when this happens, one person's phone is going to ring. Can we do a quick favor? I know you should never do this at a meetup. Can you turn your phones off of silence and put the ringers on loud so we can see who the winner is going to be? And when we're ready, I'm going to phone the winner. Okay, drum roll. Can we get a drum roll? I'm going to run the code. Hopefully it works. We got a call Sid. Anyone's phone ringing?
Nothing.
No one's phone rang? You got the phone call?
Oh,
Well, come find me afterwards and I'll get you your £50 Amazon gift raffle. Thank you so much for taking part. But yes, that's Twilio, that's what we do. Hopefully you found this entertaining and informative. If you've never found out about Twilio, you can go try it out. If you want to build up really more complex things, like recently, the thing I'm so proud about that I've built and I'd love to talk about is I built a Babel fish. So I can phone someone, talk in English, and it transcribes it, translates it, audio generates it, and like they listen. So far it's in Japanese, switch language, and then they can talk back and it gets translated. So you can build all sorts of really big things. So come talk to me about that if you want to find out more. And yes, if you want to also find out more, you can follow us on social medias at Twilio Devs, and follow me because I talk a lot and write code at Chatbox Coder. Thank you.
Collective power,